The International Finals Rodeo is about to get underway at the Lazy E Arena in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and this is an opportunity that we have to follow up with all of the standings leaders in the IPRA as we get ready for the IFR. All of it will stream live on the Next Gen app, so you can watch all of the action. Team roper Stephen Britnell has got one heck of a history in the International Professional Rodeo Association. Been a champion at the old. Was it the RNCFR that year, Stephen? It must have been. It was Oklahoma City.
It was
the RNCFR, been a 9-time champion, or 8 times, about to become 9-time champion of the IPRA. Stephen, welcome. Thank you for your time. The best part of a lot of interviews are the stuff that doesn't get said on camera or doesn't get said that's recorded. I've enjoyed the heck out of visiting with you, just getting ready for this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's a true blessing to me. I'm just an old man over here and raised over here in the East and getting the amateur rodeo. And I come up from a poor family that didn't have a lot of money. And I lost my dad when I was 15. And my mom said, if you want to keep this rodeo stuff going on, you better get you a job. So, I worked at McDonald's for a little while. And my dad taught me how to shoe a horse when I was little. I started pulling shoes when I was 10. And I shot my first horse, which my horse, when I was 12. My dad was laid up with a broke leg of the horse I was shoeing, that flipped over on him, broke his leg. And I just grabbed my dad's tools and started at it. And from there, we're still shoeing horses now for 36 years.
Wow.
And, but yeah, just growing up in Florence, Alabama, where I grew up. And, I grew up right around Perry Bigby and Beverly Robbins, and thank goodness for them, because having them in my corner of roping around those guys, getting to go to roping of that magnitude years ago, getting to see great ropers. I still talk to Clay O'Brien Cooper quite often. In 1989, he actually introduced me to what we now call the big joke of team roping, is the trap or the whatever. But he taught me kind of how to throw a gate right there in Perry Beebe's driveway in 1989.
I'll be darned. It's interesting because you talk about 36 years of shoeing horses. How many years of team roping?
I grew up roping calves. My whole family roped calves. My dad started roping calves and trying to learn how to rope in the loft of a barn, roping a bucket. And he taught us all how to roping a bucket.
Huh.
And I had 3 brothers that roped calves religiously until they died. Still have Gene Britnell, which is Travis Eugene Britnell. He is 74. Just went through his second open heart surgery.
Wow.
Still shoeing today. Still shoeing. He is a very inspiration to me. He has turned himself to God and turned me into God. And I can't thank that enough, because all of it goes to the glory of God of everything I've been able to accomplish.
So let's talk about your history with the IPRA. You have been one of the most stable champions in the International Professional Rodeo Association for the first time I ever met you, I think, was at the IFR. It wasn't. It was at the year that you won the RNCFR.
2011, yes, sir.
You've been a part of this for 3-4 decades now, haven't you?
I bought my first card in 1986 in IPRA.
Wow.
As a calf roper. Yep. I remember the first rodeo I ever won was at Waynesboro, Tennessee. They didn't have enough calf ropers, so they made it a 2-header. And I was the only one to tie one down. I was 12 years old.
Really?
And yep, I won third one round, won the second round, and won the average.
I'll be darned. At 12.
At 12 years old.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
You've got to be able to look back on this and see, You're going into the IFR this year with about an $18,000 lead over the rest of the field, but you talk about the money that's available now. It's increasing.
Glad you brought that up, Steve. Is the IPRA is really, to me, is the PRCA NFR to me. Like I said, I grew up in a little small town in Petersville, Alabama, which is a little small town right outside of Florence, which we're building probably going to be one of the biggest venues in the country, sports complex there. But we was a little small town, and what we grew up then by, my dad he was all about Jim Neighbors and Toots Manfield back in those days. I mean, I grew up hearing my dad talk about Toots Manfield. You rope 7 out of 10 goats with a cotton plow line, a horseback, you're ready to rodeo. And, and I did it. I did it. I didn't have a cotton plow line. But I had a 1/4 inch nylon string and I roped goats. So yeah, it was quite crazy. And a lot of people today ask me, what kind of rope do you use? What kind of rope do you use? And I've really just started, as of yesterday, started my own YouTube channel about, there's going to be deals of heading a dummy, roping a calf dummy, heeling a dummy, and you have your daily devotional in there and so forth. But it's mainly going to be about what kind of loop size do you have, what kind of rope do you use, what layer rope do you use, so forth. So I grew up as a kid, back then it was a Billy Leach aged nylon 7/16 scant. And if you've ever swung anything like that today, that feels like you're swinging a water hose. They was super heavy, super stiff, but I've just developed a feel for something like that in my life, and now I can't get away from that feel.
So if I'm a parent and I call you up and I say I've got this 10, 11, 12-year-old that really wants to be a team roper, what are the first couple of this is I'm asking you to give away a little bit of the farm. What are the first couple of things you're going to tell me?
First thing I would tell him to get is a soft rope that he can make the least mistakes with, because I will tell you this, the softer the rope, the least mistakes you make. If you make any mistake in release with a soft rope, it's going to show. A hard rope, it's going to let you catch. It's going to make you on top of Mount Everest. But when all of a sudden your rope goes soft, then you feel like you can't hit the broadside of a barn with a handful of rocks. But when you learn the feel of the rope, there's so many great healers out there today, so many great ropers out there today that actually head with an extra soft head rope. They heel with a medium soft heel rope, and those are my heroes. I made ropes for Running P Ropes. If nobody don't know this already, but I started making ropes for Clay O'Brien Cooper when he became into Running P Rope Company in 1990. And we made 3/8 full ropes for Clay O'Brien Cooper as hard as we could make them. And they flew him in one time to the rope shop, and that was one of the best times I actually had in my life, in my career, is actually spend some time with him, swinging a rope, trying to get a feel of what that guy did back then. And it was unreal of how cool he was then as now he is today.
Yeah. Cleo is just being able to be around that guy. You got to come out as a better roper.
You just got to be able to come out of a better person.
Yeah.
Not just a roper, just a better person. To be around him for 30 minutes, if you can't get a vibe out of that guy, and that don't spark a fire under your woods with.
Yeah. The 56th IFR gets underway on January the 15th. We'll run through January the 18th. As I said, we'll stream it all live here on the Next Gen Rodeo app, so folks can get a chance to watch and follow and see. How many qualifications is this for you now?
23. I think it's 23, 24, 23 or 24.
Yeah. What a good group of team ropers, both on the heading and the heeling side. Just looking down the standings. I mean, this is anybody's good team rope in any place you want to go.
Anywhere you want to go, there's some great horsepower right here. And what the IPRA is revolved us around is ropers that, hey, we live in the East, or I do, but we've got ropers from all over. And maybe you do have a full-time job. Maybe you're a farmer. Maybe you're a rancher. And you can't stay gone for 6 or 8 months to make the NFR. And that's where I've been my entire life, is I couldn't stay gone. So this is what the IPRA is revolved around, is family. Not saying nothing about the PRCA. I'm not knocking that at all. But I know the PRCA, and I've been a member of the PRCA for a long time as well. But to be gone for your family for 3 months at a time, that's really tough. But in IPRA, we can go rodeo, go to some Northeast rodeos in New York, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. We can go to rodeo every day. And some days it ain't as much money as a lot of people want to win, but the money's been great. The money's gotten way better in the IRA than it's ever been that I've owned a card. Actually, it's kind of funny that when you turn 50, you get to be a gold card member.
Right.
So now I have my gold card. It's kind of wild to say. Never thought I'd get that one, but our money's great. It's getting better each and every year. And to be able to have the publicity of what you're doing with the IPRA, it needed to be there a long time ago, but it's here, and I can't thank you enough, Steve, for what you're doing for us.
Well, it's an honor. This is my favorite thing to do, is tell stories about ropers and riders and have a chance to get to know. There's so many great people and so many backstories that, the rodeo announcer in me never has time to tell. I've got
one thing I would love to say right here, if I can, is 2000, I got a chance. I grew up with Chad Masters, so Chad and I's dad roped calves against one another for years. So Chad and I knew each other growing up, and in 2000, Chad reached out and said, "Hey, we need another healer, because in IRA you get to go rope twice." And I said, "Man, I'd love to go. You tell me when, where, I'll be there."
Yeah.
And I started out roping with Chad and Sam Smith and Andy Lindley. And Andy had to go home, he's a family man, and he had to go home, do his thing. And we picked up Kevin Daniels. So Kevin Daniels and I went to roping in March of that year, and that was the 2001 year that Kevin Daniels and I won the world in the IRA. And Kevin and I did it again back to back. So 2004, I think, started roping with Kelsey Parchman. So Kelsey Parchman and I went to rodeoing, and Kelsey Parchman and I won the world twice, back to back. Then Dustin Aguskis, I made it several times with Ross Lowry in amongst all those years, but Dustin Aguskis' dad passed away, and I called him and I said, "Hey man," I said, "I lost my dad when I was 15. You need to get your butt up here and let's go rodeo. You don't need to be stay down there in Florida and be dwelling on all this. Let's go rodeo. That's what your dad wants you to do. And man, 2 days later, he showed up in my driveway and we rodeoed. And I'm telling you, we rodeoed. And that kid was phenomenal then, as he is phenomenal now. And that kid went from not even in the standings to winning the world that year. And again, I win reserve again. But Dustin won the world. And then a couple of years later, he come back and he won it with Travis Graves. But 2017, I wrote with 13 different headers.
Wow.
And win the world again by myself. And then that year, that may have been my sixth. Yeah, that was my sixth. And then I picked up a young man that I watched grow up here in East Tennessee. I've been here in East Tennessee for 21 years. Watched this kid, little old chubby little kid, just riding donkeys. I mean, they was dinks. And I picked up a kid named Heath King. And I call him the Two Swing King. That's his name to me. That's his. And he and I just, man, we blitzed it there for a couple of years, and he's had some horse issues, and he was on top of the world at the beginning of the year, and both his good horses went down this year, and he's had to bring on a practice horse, and man, what a phenomenal guy and horse trainer and a good guy he is as a horse trainer, a horseman, a roper, to bring on what he's having to do and where he's become. Has been a true blessing to pick this young man up. And to note this, I started out with Luke Brown, Chad Masters, Kevin Daniels, Dustin Eggerskiza, and Ross Lowry.
Wow.
The only man out of those five that ain't made the NFR and could have been there 10 times over. But his mom and daddy had a rodeo company. And the only reason Ross Lowry has never been in the NFR is because he's a family man and he stayed here and run a rodeo company.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny because I'm listening to you talk about all the guys you've roped with, and Heath King goes in as the number one ranked header. He's about $3,000 up on the rest of the field going into the IPR. I think about Ross Lowry when I think of you, because I watch you guys rope together a lot.
Man, I'm going to tell you, Ross Lowry, I mean, this is no holds bar. Ross Lowry, I don't care how bad your week is or how bad your roping's going right now. That guy right there can inspire you from the time you pull out of his driveway. And if you're going an hour to a rodeo or 10 hours to a rodeo, I promise you, when you get there, I don't care if you're going 30 minutes across the street, but when you get there, that man will have you believing you're on top of the world. And there's nobody I've ever rodeoed with in all my career that has ever believed in me and believe in our roping ability is Ross Lowry. And Ross is an absolute my all-time hero of all time.
Yeah.
We hold many arena records together that still ain't broke to this day. Claremore, Oklahoma, Jackson, Mississippi. There's some others, but those will always they'll go to my grave. That I don't know that they'll ever be broke.
Stephen, I appreciate your time. I've kept you way longer than I thought I would.
No, sir, you're good. We'll sit here and talk for days, but I thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Good
yes,
luck,
sir, and God bless you. And we'll be praying for your fast recovery and get back on your feet. And thank you for all you do for us in the rodeo.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen Britnell. It's been a pleasure.
God bless you, sir.
God bless you. Thank you.